Guys, it's Mike. Welcome back to the shop. This week's video, we're going to have a little bit of a wider range of stuff. I've got the last few clips from the shotgun break, and when I was doing last week's video, I looked at my forejaw for my little Atlas, and it is changing color from the rust. So I'm going to tear this apart this week. Pull all the jaws off and clean it all out. I figured I'd throw that in the video also. And then I'm going to start on the hydraulic press build again. I'm going to cut the two pieces of channel, or cut the one piece of channel into two pieces for the side supports and get it all somewhat tacked together and assembled. And I don't know how far we're going to get on that this week, but that's the plan so far. So let me move the camera around so you guys can see the forejaw here, and we'll start to pull it apart. Alright, so first thing I'm going to do is check and make sure the jaws are all numbered and they're all matching up first. And then this is kind of shaking my table around, so I'm sorry for the bouncy video. And this is not going to work to take these all the way out. Let me go get my other longer 1/4-inch extension. See if that'll work. With my DeWalt. See if that'll work. That'll speed it up a little bit. You can see these are pretty gunked up. Also, it doesn't look like this thing's been cleaned in a very, very long time. I was looking at the back of it to see how I can pull the actual threads out, and it looks like there's just a pin pushed through that has a collar that holds it up. And I'm not sure exactly how I can get that out, if I can get it out without too much trouble. So I think for now I'm just going to focus on cleaning the outside surfaces and try to get those recoated with a good durable oil that'll last. So first thing I'm going to do is just give it some penetrating oil. And I don't have my other bigger brush, but I can use this. And basically I just want to see how bad the rust is. So the oil hasn't had long to soak, and it's coming off already somewhat easily. And this is just that non-abrasive scrub pad that I'm using right now. If that isn't enough, I've got some of the maroon emery cloth I can use on it also. And I also could, here's some of this stuff here. So I could also hit it with just a wire brush, but it looks like it's taken it all the way off pretty easily. So I'm gonna spray it down the whole thing a little bit more with this penetrating oil and let it sit for a while, and then start in on the hydraulic press build while this is soaking. Alright, so we got it in our bandsaw here, and I've got a new blade in here. I think I've got it trued up about the best I can do with this little bandsaw, and hopefully it'll cut alright. So let's test it out. I don't know how well it's gonna come out because the camera is mounted to part of the bandsaw, so it might be a little shaky, and it would probably help if I actually plugged it in. I don't know how well you guys can see, but there's just a tiny little bit of a difference. I got them both sitting on the floor side by side, and there's maybe a 1/16 of an inch of difference, which I'm happy with. So next thing is going to be getting it all tacked together and in position. So I'm gonna reposition the camera and get the I-beam sections over here where we can adjust them and see how we're gonna weld it. The channel down here in the bottom, this is the I-beam's top support, and what I'm going to do, I didn't think about it when I first measured and cut these. This top piece is thicker than the center piece, the actual piece that pushes down, and it's thicker by 2 thicknesses of the channel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tack it here, and then I'm going to see if I can put a little tack on each side, center it up, get it where it's square here, and then I'll be able to put the piece that moves down in and check it when I set the other one, and then I'll be able to put spacers on the end, tack it in place, and then what I'll do is I'll put a plate on the back here that will cover the whole piece, and I'll weld that plate all the way down on each side and then all the way around the inside of the I-beam, so that it's got more of a bite on the channel than it does right now. So right now I'm just checking to see if it's square, and it's got a little bit of a lean to it. So I might need to use a piece of 1/16 of an inch TIG filler here. And that's too much. It's just a hair off. I'm gonna check the other side. See if it's any better. Oh, the other side's perfect. Alright, so I'll do this side first, and then I'll be able to get my magnetic clamp to work here. So let me move you guys so you can see I've got the strong hand magnetic clamp holding that in place, and then check. And we're completely true. That's all centered up. That's all centered up. And I think I'm gonna see if I can do it. That's good there. All right. Everything's all squared up now, except for as soon as I go to brush it, it moves. Oh, I love it. Guess I'll do this first then. Alright, now that's squared up. Find my plug here. I'm just going to use my MIG welder here. I'm debating on whether or not to grind a flush spot or if I can clamp to this for a ground. Let's see how the clamp does. That's good there, so I'm just going to run up a little tack on the outside edge here also. Right, and we're gonna take a quick break here so I can clean all this mess up. What I'm doing now, I've got the piece that I tacked on top, and I've got this which needs to be tacked still. So what I'm gonna do is I've got a piece of 1/8 angle iron, and I've measured the gap on the other side. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to tack this piece here, and then I'll raise it up slowly until I get the right gap on this end, and then I'll tack it in place. So that'll hold the proper space so that there's the right travel all the way through. Measurement on the other side is 20 1/16, and we're at 19 and a half here. So what I'm going to do is carefully move this down. To this end. Brings us almost there. We need another 1/4 of an inch. So put a spacer in here, and we are good. Flip this around here. Check. And we're square. I think I'm gonna stick weld this. Got some 7018 here. So I'm gonna shut the camera off for a minute and switch everything around. So I've got the camera positioned a little bit further away just to make sure I don't get splatter on it. I am slightly worried about that. I'm going to weld this with some Hobart 7018. I haven't used it in a while, so I'm not sure how it's going to weld, but we'll find out. I think that'll work. Now, something I didn't think about was flipping it over to weld everything else, because I am not good at overhead welding. So maybe I'll run the bead up here if I can get a good angle on it. It doesn't work. Probably not going to be my best weld ever, but I have faith that it'll hold. I think that's all the welding I'm gonna do on camera. Flip around here so you guys can see. It's not my best work, but I'm sure it'll hold just fine. Really little splatter. I'm surprised those 7018 rods are kind of old. I was expecting them to run a little bit sloppier than that. Okay, so this has had a couple hours to sit here and soak in, so I'm gonna spray a little bit more on here real quick and then see it's doing. It looks like I'm going to have to use some of the maroon Scotch-Brite because it's not getting all the way down, so let's see. Well, that's looking a heck of a lot better. Alright, so we're just going to go through and scrub all these off, and I'll bring you back when I'm finished with that. Alright, I'm done cleaning it up as much as I want to. I don't want to go too crazy on it and take off any metal. So I've got it completely cleaned off. There's no more surface rust. There's definitely some change in the patina of it a little bit, and I've got the Acme thread sections cleaned off as best I can. To do those, I stuck the toothbrush down in there and then hit it with my power drill so it's spinning fairly quick, and I just went out and pushed everything out, and then I hit it with the air compressor and blew it all out. But it's completely cleared off. There's no more of that surface rust on there, and the last thing I have to do is just clean off the jaws and reassemble. Right, now we are done. I got all the jaws cleaned up and put a light coat of whey oil on it, cleaned out all the threads and everything, and it works, or it looks pretty good now. So figured I'd throw that in there since I had to pull it apart anyways and show how I clean it. Right, I'm just getting ready to punch these in here real quick. Alright, now sheet metal and me do not ever get along when it comes to drilling or really doing anything to it. But what I'm going to attempt to do is clamp it so that that edge is just over the lip of my welding bench here, and hopefully it'll go through and not catch and snag. Hey, look at that. It worked. It actually worked. Now let's see how good we lined our holes up. Good there. And good there. Alright, so now let me dig out my rivet gun and we'll be finishing this thing up. Things are breaking off funky and not coming out of here for me. There we go. Oops. Got a little bit of bow in it now. It's not closing flush, so I'm going to stick a piece of welding filler metal in there and press it over the top of it and see if that'll... Oh yeah, that should work. Get it to bend or flex. There we go. And I think we're pretty much done. Now it just needs to be painted and test it out.